Aloha everyone, this is my lesson plan analysis and presentation. The lesson plan I used is Fresh Foods from Farm to Table, and I imagine that this lesson would be most appropriate for students in grades 1 through 3. The objectives discussed in the lesson were to identify and explain the steps that fresh foods, such as eggs, go through in production and delivery process from farm to table. Use varied online resources to discover facts about the production process of eggs, and compare agriculture in our state with other states. In this lesson, students explore the concept of farm to table. Students will act out important vocabulary verbs that they will later discover to be the steps of the farm to table process for eggs. Formulate questions that guide their learning using a KWL chart to help organize their ideas. Explore and take notes of the various phases of the production process using different online resources and videos. Take an online interactive exploration of the farm-to-table process. Connect what they have learned through their research to egg production in their home state. Compare the agriculture from their state to another state of their choice. And sequence and explain what they've learned about the farm-to-table process for eggs. In this lesson, students are expected to read vocabulary words as well as information found online. They are expected to listen to the teacher's instruction, to their classmates' explanations, and listen as they collaborate in their own groups. Students are expected to write as they formulate questions on their KWL charts, engage in a carousel brainstorming activity by writing what they've learned about each vocabulary word, and take notes using a sorting organizer and Venn diagram. Finally, students are expected to speak during this lesson as they collaborate in their small groups and as they present what they've learned to the class. As teachers design lessons, we need to think about the various language demands we place on our students and find ways to support and scaffold for our multilingual learners in a way that allows them to be able to participate. In this lesson, there were many ways that the teacher provided scaffolding supports for multilingual students. For example, having the students act out the vocabulary words, putting the vocabulary words up and around the classroom and available for reference, coordinating small collaborative groupings of students, allowing students to use an interactive whiteboard if one is available, using video supports, using an interactive exploration website, and providing the students with graphic organizers. In her book, Scaffolding Language, Scaffolding Learning, Pauline Gibbons writes that academic language development requires planned English language support, and that a high-challenge classroom requires high levels of language support or scaffolding. It's important that teachers plan for these scaffolds ahead of time to ensure that our multilingual students are thoroughly supported through the lessons we carry out. As I think back to my student, Benny, I believe that provided with these supports, he would be able to access the content. He would be able to gain information and insight through the acting exercise, video, and interactive website, and be able to think critically as he bounces ideas off of his partners and the teacher. Gibbons also wrote that learning is essentially collaborative and social, and it is a partnership between teacher and students. During my observation, Benny showed frustration during writing exercises and activities. He has trouble writing and putting his thoughts and ideas down on paper. And I believe that he may need extra support and scaffolding as he takes notes on the Venn diagram, KWL chart, and sorting organizer. These are the lesson adaptations I've come up with that would be necessary to support multilingual learners. The WIDA Guiding Principles of Language Development states that multilingual learners use and develop language to interpret and access information, ideas, and concepts from a variety of sources, including real-life objects, models, representations, and multimodal texts. Teachers can provide lots of visuals for the students so that they can access the content and make connections more easily. Considering my student Benny has trouble with writing exercises, he would certainly benefit from having a pre-written cards to identify and sequence the steps of production. He would also benefit from having sentence starters to help organize his ideas on paper. In the article Promoting Literacy in Multilingual Contexts by Dr. Jim Cummins, he explains how teachers should encourage students to read and write extensively. Teachers could pre-teach vocabulary and concepts by sending printed materials home for students to read and discuss with their families. Teachers could use gesturing with the students and provide language supports such as modeling and extending students' language, strategies also encouraged by Jim Cummins. Dr. Ofelia Garcia explains in the Daupher lecture that we should be encouraging translanguaging as a linguistic scaffold in our classrooms. The WIDA Guiding Principles of Language Development furthers the idea that multilingual learners use their full linguistic repertoire, including translanguaging practices, to enrich their language development and learning, and so allowing our students to achieve to their potential by using their language and culture as a resource. We learned about how teachers can use the Google Translate app to assist in translation from English to our students' home languages and from our students' home languages to English, making translanguaging in the classroom a very encouraging learning strategy. The WIDA Guiding Principles of Language Development states that multilingual learners use and develop language to interpret and present different perspectives, build awareness of relationships, and affirm their identities. In the article Promoting Literacy in a Multilingual Context, Dr. Jim Cummins recommends that we teach in ways that affirm students' identities. Multilingual learners use and develop language when opportunities for learning take into account their individual experiences, characteristics, abilities, and level of language proficiency. To modify the lesson, I might have students research agriculture facts and share about egg processing from their home countries. I would intentionally group students based on their needs. The CREED model encourages joint productive activities and instructional conversations with small groups of students that will encourage discourse in a highly supportive environment. In her lecture, Dr. Ofelia Garcia recommends pairing emergent multilinguals and more advanced English speakers together so that students can be a resource in helping their peers through tasks and with target language acquisition. I would provide my multilingual learners with extended time to accomplish tasks, such as exploring resources and then writing about what they've learned, and when necessary, accommodate them with modified work. It's important that I use my critical multilingual awareness to continue to think intentionally about how I can improve my lessons from my multilingual learners. These supports will likely be helpful in supporting my English-speaking students as well. My philosophy of language and learning is such that a highly supportive environment is essential for multilingual students to learn and acquire a target language and to perform high-challenge tasks. The environment must be a place where multilingual learners can experience the language through immersion, authentic experience, encouragement, modeling techniques, visuals, supportive linguistic scaffolding, creative teaching strategies, and work modifications when necessary. Thank you for your time.